hanging out with the wrong people. He came up missing. And they find him dead. Like, they're killing my loved ones to get back at me for whatever. Why? Like, what did I do? Like, you at this point, I'm just like 80 times. Like, really? They're walking out of the house and there's police cars everywhere. And guess who she saw inside of the police car getting arrested? What's up, Team Jazzy? It's your girl, Jazzy J, and I am back with another mukbang. So, you know how when someone wants revenge on you, what they normally do is they'll go after your family instead of you because you just did something so horrible. They just want to cause so much pain in your life, and killing you is just not enough. I think that is what this true crime is going to be about today. A police officer's bad luck. It is a woman. And it just seemed like she just had so much bad luck throughout her adulthood. But we're gonna get into that. Today, I will be eating on some giant prawns, yummy, boiled eggs, cucumber, and some seafood spicy sauce. I made it extra spicy. I don't know what I was thinking, but it's extra spicy today. I'm gonna pray so that we can eat. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for the food that I'm about to receive. I ask that it may be nourishment to my body. I ask that you bless the hands that prepared it and bless my entire team, Jazzy. Amen. So how are you guys doing today? What are you eating for dinner? And I hope that you're eating with me. Oh, this looks so good. I'm gonna show y'all one more time. Don't it look so good? Yummy. So these ones I put in the air fryer. And my air fryer has like the little, it has the little picture so that you can put what you're adding in there. Oh, that looks good. It's gonna drip, but I gotta show y'all. I gotta show ya. Oh, I want some onion. This is fresh sauce. I'll clean up my mess afterwards. Egg. Yo, the eggs be the best. Look, I'm trying to get an onion. It's not that spicy. It's really good. I was worried because I put a tablespoon of cayenne pepper instead of a teaspoon. And then when I went to taste it, I was like, oh, it's spicy. But it's actually not that bad. Y'all, I'm about to tell on myself. I have lemon, but I'm being lazy. I'm not gonna go get it. Because this is like, it's so perfect. I don't need no lemon today. I got the cucumber on deck. It's the sauce for me. I can dip anything in this. So what y'all do for the new year? And how'd y'all bring it in? Let me tell y'all. I bring it in the most peaceful way. And that was meditating. I was trying to go to bed early so that I could wake up really early and just get in the habit, the first day of the year, get in the habit of waking up really early. That's always been my goal. And I'm successful, you know, about 5 months out of the year. Like, that's how much I was doing it. But then when the summertime's coming and I'm outside and I'm getting home late, or just like if I'm up late editing a video, I never do it. So I'm just like, okay, going into the new year, I don't want to party. I don't want to go out. I want to stay inside, meditate, and wake up early and start the day with intention, good intention. And so that's what I did. I started to go to bed at like 9:30-ish. And then I got a phone call. So I didn't end up going to sleep until like 1 o'clock. But that was only because it was 11:30 when I got off the phone. So I'm like, okay, let me meditate. So I started meditating at 11:30. By the time I got done, it was 12:30. So I was happy to bring in the new year in such a peaceful state, you know, and visualizing what I would like me and my kids' life to be and what I desire. And so, yeah, it was a good experience. I always have a good experience when I meditate. I would suggest meditation for anybody. You know, it's almost the same as praying, but the way my counselor taught me is like, you know, you meditate after you pray. Like you meditate on what you just said and everything. So, but I'll meditate and then I'll play like worship music. That's just what I do. But you have to find what works for you, you know, and what keeps you at peace. Because, you know, with the news and COVID and all these new cases, and it's sad, and you'll get overwhelmed. And just like everyday life things that you may be going through, it's just a good way to stay sane. I done already started talking before the daggone story. The story is good. The story is really good. So there was a woman by the name of Rosemary. And she lived in South Africa. And so did her whole family. She was born and raised there. In a city called Johannesburg. And Johannesburg had like a lot of poverty and homicides. Like the homicide rate was really high, and it always has been. And so it was very normal. But Rosemary, she grew up very aggressive in her masculinity and just zero tolerance. And so that led her to a passion. She wanted to be a police officer. So her family looked up to her because, like I said, the poverty rate was very high. And so she was family oriented. She took care of her family. And she even suggested to them, like, you know, with the industry that I'm in, I need all of y'all to get some type of life insurance policy because the rate is so high. I just want to make sure that we're all good, you know. And she gave them a couple pointers financially. And so they're like, okay, well, will you help us? And she's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And so her husband did the same thing for his family. She met her husband in 2011, and he worked for the U.S. Embassy. He made really good money, and he also helped take care of his family. He was family oriented, so they had a lot in common, and they had, you know, a happy relationship despite the small financial hardships that may occur every now and then, or just like the small disagreements that they would have. So Rosemary was worried about one cousin in particular because he hung out with the wrong crowd. And so, you know, she just had that gut feeling that you get, you know, when you could see stuff happening before it happens. And what do you know? The cousin hanging out with the wrong people, he came up missing. So she ordered a search for her cousin, and they ended up finding him dead. They found him dead. He had forced trauma to the head. So it definitely was a homicide, and his body was left outside. It was about a couple miles from their city. And yeah, it was really sad. They had to bury him, but because the mortality rate was so high, and because the city didn't have a lot of money, they didn't have the funds to do a lot of investigation. Everybody just moved on with their life and, you know, counted their losses. So like I said, Rosemary was family oriented, and she wanted to have dinner with her sister one day. And so she called her sister over for dinner. Everything went good. She cooked for her sister. She hugged her sister, and her sister went back home. Well, the next day she went to call her sister and no answer. And so she's like, what's going on? So she's calling her. She went to her house. She knocked on the door. Her sister is not answering at all. So now she's like, I'm about to order a search for her because the family ain't even talked to her. And that wasn't like her sister. And so the police broke down her door, and they found her dead in the living room. So then again, there's not enough money to do an investigation. People die all the time in this area, so whatever. So the family took yet another hit to the normal high rate in this city. Like, everybody has a target on their back, it seems like. Rosemary moves to a different police station, and everybody loved Rosemary because she was just really nice, you know, and they love her brashiness, like how she was so aggressive and just like tough skin and solid. They loved that about her. And every now and then, whenever they needed money, she would loan a couple of her friends at work money if they ever needed it. Like, she was just like really giving. So in 2014, they conceived, and it was a baby girl. They were awesome parents. They loved this little girl. And the only thing was, you know, a baby can kind of hurt a marriage, especially if, you know, you're already having money problems and you were already having problems before the baby. The baby actually makes things worse. And so that's kind of what happened in this case. They had a baby and their marriage was just falling apart. They were fighting all the time. And anytime they fought, her husband would leave the house and just stay with somebody else overnight. And so this one night they had got into a fight and he left the house. And then the next morning when he didn't come home, she got worried. He's not answering the phone. Nobody has talked to him. Nobody has seen him. So she calls the police and she's like, my husband didn't come home last night. Like, this is getting weird. Everybody around me is disappearing. And so they call a search for her husband, and you guessed it, he was found dead. But he had 80 stab wounds. Somebody stabbed him 80 times. Like, really? Don't you think after the fourth one, he's dead already? Like, it was somebody in anger. And so, you know, Rosemary's like, who would want to hurt him? Can y'all see if it was a robbery or something? And so they're like, it couldn't have been a robbery because the police found his credit card on him, his money, his ID. Like, if it was a robbery, they would have took it, you know? So think about the regret that a wife would have when you get into a fight with your husband. He storms out and then he never comes home again. And you have to explain that to your baby girl. Mourning the loss of her husband, she's there with her baby alone. Her mother and her niece come to visit her. And so they were out and the niece ends up getting hit by a car. Like, at this point, I'm just like, this woman got bad luck. Like, who cursed her? You know? And so the niece ends up getting hit by a car. They rush her to the emergency room and thank God she's okay. And, you know, she only had a couple bruises to the face, and just a little bit of like injuries, but it wasn't bad injuries to keep her at the hospital. And so they sent her home. So she wanted her to get her rest. She put her niece in the bed and then she went out and ran errands. When she came back home, her niece was crying nonstop, saying, my chest is hurting. Her niece just woke up like, my chest is hurting so bad. And she's just like crying. She won't stop crying. And so she's like, well, let's go back. Let's go back to the hospital. They go back to the hospital. And what do you know? By the time they get to the hospital, the little girl lost her life. She lost her life. And they're trying to examine, they're trying to figure out, how did we miss something, you know? And they must have missed, she had fractured her ribs and she had a damaged liver. So she wanted to get closer to her brother. So she like built a relationship with her brother. And this was in 2017. Her brother's son was traveling. And so she's like, you know, what to help him on cost. He was traveling by the bus. So she's like, what to help him with cost? I could take him halfway, drop him off at the bus stop halfway. And then he takes the next bus over there. And then, you know, me and him could talk and bond. And he can also save money. And so the brother is like, thank you so much, looking out for my son. He's like, yeah. And so she drives him to the bus station. She drops him off. And so the next morning she calls him just to make sure that he made it home safely. He made it to his destination safely, and he's not answering. So her brother calls her and was like, hey, have you talked to my son? She's like, yeah, I'm trying to call him and he's not answering. And so nobody has talked to the brother. And so they do another search and they find him dead. Like, they find this boy dead. And so they're trying to investigate. And so Rosemary is telling the police, like, took him to the bus station, and that was the last time that I seen him. And now he's not answering. And they're like, did you watch him get on the bus at least? And she's like, no, I just dropped him off. So he could have walked somewhere else. He could have went to the restroom. Like, who knows? He could have jumped in somebody else's car. Like, who knows? She didn't actually see him get on the bus. And so she's just like, this is spooky. Who is after me? Why? Like, what did I do? All she can think of, she arrested so many people being a police officer, and she has a zero tolerance. So she ain't going for no sad stories. Wrong is wrong and right is right. I'm putting you in jail. You get what I'm saying? So they all so it's just weird that, all of my family members, somebody has to be watching me, because why is it that every person, it's like soon as they see me with somebody, they kill them. They're killing my loved ones to get back at me for whatever. So at this point, Rosemary is frustrated, confused, and clueless. And she's like, I'm just going to stay away from family. I'm going to stay away from anybody that I love. In 2018, Rosemary's sister is at home with her 5 children, and somebody is banging on her door. She opens the door, and it's the police. The police was like, come with me right now. You and all your children. She had 5 kids, and the youngest was 6 months. And she's like, what's going on? What's going on? And the police was like, it was scheduled for you to die today at 9 a.m. And she's like, what? The police was like, yes, you and all of your children were about to die. You need to come with me. So she gets all her kids together. They're walking out of the house, and there's police cars everywhere. And guess who she saw inside of the police car getting arrested? Rosemary. The reason why Rosemary wanted everybody to have some life insurance policies is because she had a gambling problem at the casino, and that was her bad luck. She couldn't win at the casino and was blowing her money. And so she told all her family, I will help you get a life insurance policy. So in court, they pulled up all these receipts of all this money Rosemary has been collecting for each death in her family. The first cousin that she was worried about him hanging out, she killed him, and she was listed as his wife. She got $100,000 in the policy, and she only put $13,000 towards the funeral. Her sister, the one that she invited over for dinner, she poisoned her. So by the time she got home, she just collapsed on her living room floor and died. She got $700,000. She was the beneficiary. She was the beneficiary on everybody's life insurance policy that died, and didn't help with the funeral costs at all. Her husband, she got $100,000 from his job and $400,000 from his life insurance policy because she was his beneficiary. Her niece's death. The hospital said it themselves. We would have never sent her back home if she had those same injuries. The injuries that she came with the second time when she was dead was not the injuries that she walked out of the hospital with, and it had only been 12 hours. So something happened within those 12 hours that made her die after her life was already saved because she got hit by a car. There was actually 2 nephews that she drove places and they never made it out. Both of those nephews, she was the beneficiary on their life insurance policy as well. But she had one of them she listed as the wife and the other one she listed as the mother. And so the insurance policy was like, we need proof that you're the mother. We need proof that you're the wife. And because she didn't have proof, she got denied, but they didn't investigate. She just got denied for the last 2. So she was getting tired of getting denied. She running out of money. So what she decided to do, she's like, okay, this is the last one. I'm going to kill my sister and all 5 of her kids, even the 6-month baby. So that's going to be enough money for me to make it big at the casino. And so she hired a hitman that she arrested before. See, she knows all the people that have done things, all the felons. Like, she knows all them because she's a police officer. So she hired him and was like, I want you to kill my sister and all 5 of her kids, and I'll give you some money for it. But even though he done did some dirt himself, he was like, something not right about this. I don't like that, you know? There's still good-hearted people in this world despite their past. And he was like, I can't do it. And he's the one that went to the police. He went to the police. He told the police everything that she was planning to do. And the police was like, okay, we're going to have you meet up with her. We need her on recording saying exactly what she's going to do.
Marugwaza nokudubula ayikho emakhaya yabona ukushisa number 1 nokuhamba number 1 zona lezi ngicabanga ukuthi sihambe manje ne masihamba manje niyohlangana naye ngimbize sihlangane somewhere mina mhlambe ngifake imoto laphana yabona ngimnikezele laphilisi njabule lwana ngimtshele isiphilisi lamaphilisi asiza ntambama mawulala uwaphuza womkhuhlane ngithi manje kuzingena isizwe yomkhuhlane ngithi niwaphuze mani lala ngoba ayalalisana then mina ngizofuna ukungena ke akunamabhadla laphana ngibuyela la esibhedlela ngibuyela la esibhedlela nayo baba endlini uyazi ukuthi ngila esibhedlela so la esibhedlela ngicelile banginikeze i-pass out bathi ngibuye ngo-4 so lana noma ngafika ngo-5 6 7 akunandaba esilong ngibudile so ngoba ngithi indawo eshisa ifuna ngishise kusebusuku ngiklini mina ngingaqala ngaso base bangitshela indaba mina kusasa ngiyavuka ngiyagijima ngekhaya ngicela amayongiselo ngiyaklima ngenza zonke lezi zinto.
Soon as she got done with that conversation, police arrested her immediately. She got 50 years in jail, and she was very angry and was trying to hurt the reporters, just showing out in court, y'all. So it's just so sad that, you know, your whole family's lives were worth your bad luck at the casino. Post notification goes to... Thank you so much for having your post notifications on. Shout out to you for being the first to comment on the last video. If you would like a shout out, all you have to do is be the first to comment on the next video. Always remember that happiness doesn't make you grateful. It's gratefulness that makes you happy. If you would like to see more true crime videos, then click right here. If you would like to subscribe to this channel so that you never miss another video, then click right here. I love you and I will see you guys in the next month. Bye.